Hey everyone, and welcome to part two of our three-part series, Keep, Loan, Sell. And if you enjoyed the first one, which was the goalkeepers and the defenders and some potential incomings as well on that, make sure you do check it out if you've missed it. This one is all about the midfielders, and part three will all be about the forward and attacking third of the pitch. I'm really pleased to be joined again by Lewis, who is taking the part of sporting director for the for the meanings of this video. How you doing, Lewis?
Hi Dave, I'm all good, thank you. You?
Yeah, really enjoyed part one with the keepers and defenders. So without any further ado, let's get stuck straight into part two, which is the midfielders. It's going to be very interesting, and we're going to start off, of course, with Mario Lemina. Now, obviously, Wolves midfield is a blend of experience and use, with players either at their peak or of immense potential. And obviously, the upcoming transfer window is quite important and crucial to determine the look and strength of the squad for next season. Mario Lemina, his contract situation, however, is pretty solid. His current deal with the club runs till 2025. Wolves also have an option, indeed, to extend it for another year. So there's plenty of breathing room there. They've got, obviously, a versatile midfielder locked down for the foreseeable future. He's 30 years of age. His experience, Lemina, is invaluable. He has provided a calm presence in midfield, can play effectively. But it's also his leadership on and off the pitch that we've really come to the form. And, of course, he was the supporters player of the season as well. Mario Lemina, talk me through what your thoughts on him.
Yeah, as you said, Dave, he's kind of he's a fan favourite, really. Obviously, winning fans player of the year last year. And he has really established himself not only as a top player at the club, also a big leader. And in the first part, I mentioned how if Kilman was sold, it would mean the passing of the captaincy away from Kilman would be a lot cleaner. And I think Lemina would definitely be one of the players I would look as a major candidate who could take on that role of captain. As you said, the club remain in a strong position with his contract, with that option to extend beyond the end of next season. But obviously, he is 30 now, and the type of midfielder he is, he's very mobile. He gets around a lot, so I think he'll begin to decline a bit quicker than other players. Once he's past 30 now, so the club should look to begin to prepare for his departure and an eventual decline. Although Bukayo Saka definitely showed a lot of encouraging signs towards the back end of last season. And obviously there have been links with his former club Galatasaray coming in with an offer of around €5 million. But this is the same kind of thing that with Dawson. Exactly. Yeah. The value for money that you're getting, we couldn't then go and spend 5 million on another player that would give us the quality that Mario gives us. So he's definitely one that I'd like to keep.
Definitely want to keep for you. Let me just get that up, and we're going to move him around. Here we go. We'll put him into the keep file. So that brings us nicely on, actually, to Joe Gomez. Joe Gomez, obviously, the free Joe Gomez campaign. He's only 23. Obviously, his performances have already caught the eye of several top clubs. Wolves, however, in a strong position in his contracts until 2028, and they've got an option as well. They do this a lot, Wolves, with an option to extend it to 2029. Obviously, he's broke into the Brazilian squad. He's away at the Copa America. Surely, only an enormous offer that would come in would prize him away from Molineux for next season.
Absolutely, Dave. Like Lemina, Gomez has really established himself as a core part of the squad. Those pair in the midfield, they work so well together. And, unlike Lemina, I believe Gomez, can keep improving beyond the end of next season. So, when you're that good and you can improve a lot, your ceiling is so high, that interest from real top clubs, across Europe is almost inevitable. But as you said, the contract situation for us couldn't be better. And if we triggered that option tomorrow, he'd be our player until 2029. which means we can set the price for João Gomez. And I don't think any club will probably pay what we'd want to. And he seems happy here. So I don't really have a concern about upsetting him, preventing him from getting a move. I think he'll probably be one that will move on maybe the end of next season if he has another season as good as this one. But yeah, he's definitely one that I'm happy to keep.
Well, the other thing with Joe Gomez as well, being at Wolves has catapulted him into the Brazilian team. And obviously the Brazilian team, you're going to want to make that World Cup squad. And if Wolves can continue to improve in terms of on the pitch and start moving up under Gary O'Neill and start, have a good season where we're pushing that top half, maybe getting into European spot, he can, like I say, he's getting into, he can move to a City or someone like that and sit on the bench. Look at Grealish. He's not even
could look at what happened to Matheus Nunes last summer, and he forced his way out the club. Ultimately, went to Man City, didn't play very much, and he missed out on the Portuguese squad after being in a similar position to Gomez, in and out of the squad. And when he got to the major tournament for the Euros this summer, he wasn't included because he just simply hadn't played enough. So I think the guaranteed game time, being an important player, with that World Cup happening in a couple of years, maybe he will be keen and tempted to stay.
Absolutely. So we're going to put him on the definite keep, 100%. We want to be keeping that young man without any shadow of a doubt. So that brings us on to, you've already mentioned him, of course, Bukayo Traore. So he's relatively new to the team. Obviously, he seems to have a very promising future. Wolves' contract with him, again, is until 2027. But again, they have that 12-month extension to 2028. He had an encouraging end to the season, like you said. Do you think he'll have a bigger role to play in midfield next season? He certainly has a lot of energy. He can drive the ball forward. And fans should look maybe towards seeing more dynamic play from him next season and to grow into a fully French Premier League player.
Yeah, exactly. I think some fans could probably be accused of writing Bukayo off a bit too soon, because in the late stages of the season last year, he really impressed. He looked capable of holding down Mario's position. It was almost like a like-for-like substitution. It wasn't exact, but he showed a lot of promise, and I think that is a good sign. Obviously, like you said, he only signed permanently last summer, and obviously with the contract situation being so good, he provides that strength in depth, and I think he offers something a bit different. He's very energetic in the midfield, and he gets around a bit. I like the type of midfielder he is. He's very physical. He does a lot of the dirty work, which allows Gomez and Tommy Doyle, when he's on the pitch, to play their football. So yeah, I'd definitely keep Bukayo. I wouldn't look to sell him at all.
Absolutely. So that's another one up at the top there in the green list. The next one is without a shadow of a doubt is going to be a keeper for you. Just signed him on a permanent. Wolves, also have an option to extend it by another couple of years as well. On top of that, he was fantastic for me last season. He's tenacious. He's a terrier. He's young. He's got one that's surely going to improve. His value is going to go up, and he's a fully fledged member of the Wolves team. I think we have to put him in the key because they're not going to sell him, but I think he's an absolute steal at 4.3 million. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, value for money on Tommy Doyle is very good. I think he's a player with a really high ceiling, and I really like that we've kind of prepared ourselves for any possibility really in the midfield. I think the recruitment team have done a great job of that. You can imagine if Gomez gets injured, Tommy Doyle comes straight in there. If you want to play, if you're playing a side who are going to sit quite deep and you need to play football in front of them and find some passes that can play through the lines, again, Tommy Doyle can definitely come in and do that. He's also a very good free kick taker. I really like that signing. He's going to be at the club next season, sorry.
Absolutely, and hopefully for a lot longer than that. That brings us on to John Rickner Bellegarde. He had a bit of a rough start to his Premier League season. He did show a few glimpses of his talent. Where are you with him?
Yeah, obviously Bellegarde signed at the back end of the summer window last season for a 15 million fee, and a lot of people likened him to Mateus Nunes. And I think I feel a lot of sympathy for Bellegarde because he's far more suited, in my opinion, to a three-man midfield. And I think if Gary did get that extra centre back who offers a bit more quality, I think you'll really start to see Bellegarde relish at Wolves, because I think, you know, if you give him that freedom in the middle of a midfield three, he has a lot of space to run. And I think the games against Brighton in the cup and Liverpool at home, he showed glimpses of the quality that he does have. And I think, you know, he's a very versatile player. I remember a few games before Leon Chouame and Twanda Churewa came into the squad where he was almost the main striker. And I think that kind of versatility, and you know, he kept going. He didn't start, you know, complaining and sulking, and you know, he did his job when asked of it. I think that should be rewarded with at least another season at the club. And to be honest, Dave, I don't see anyone lining up to buy Bellegarde this summer, so he's definitely one to keep as well.
Absolutely, and you're right what you're saying. It's like sometimes, I mean, look, Semedo struggled first season as well and adapted, and then you started to see as they, you know, he hasn't had a full proper pre-season with Gary O'Neill or anything like that. So who was up next?
This one's Joe Hodge. Obviously, he was on loan last season. I think he was at QPR last season. And again, you look at our midfield. Either we play with a 2 or 3, and we're quite covered in midfield. Really, the depth is quite good. So you know, a loan is fine for me. I think that's probably the best choice. I've seen, you know, clips of him. I've seen games where he's played, and he offers signs that he could fit into that squad, especially. You know, he's a very capable ball player, but he's also quite physical. He's quite similar to Tommy Doyle, I'd say, in the way that he plays. But he's not at the level that he should be to be at the squad fully next season. So I think a loan suits him the best.
Okay, so we got a loan, and that brings us up at the rear with Luke. You know, he's obviously had a little. You know, he went out on loan as well. Do you think he'll get more integration into the first team depending on what happens in pre-season?
It's possible they might retain either, you know, Joe Hodge or Luke Cundle at the club because, you know, like you said, depth is important and he might have opportunities to play. For me, I think a loan again could be a good option, but I do know that Cundle has one season less on his contract than Joe Hodge. So, you know, the club will want to be careful to avoid loaning until, you know, loaning and shortening his contract. I think I said in the first part, I really like when a loan happens and a player signs an extension because the club who are loaning, the parent club, they only win. They get a player who's had an extra year of experience under their belt. They haven't lost out on the contract and they get a loan fee for that player. So I think a loan, this might be his last chance for a loan, I'd say. If he comes back next season and he's still not ready, then he has to be sold. But if there was an offer this summer, I'd also be tempted this summer to sell.
So where am I putting him?
I'd go for sell this time, Dave. I think we have enough quality in that midfield for me where we can afford to raise some money from a sale of Cundle. And I think if there's interest, we should definitely take up that interest and look to sell.
And what sort of fee do you think he'd command?
Well, yeah, again, we spoke in the first part about homegrown status. He is that. He trained in England for 3 years before his 21st birthday. So, you know, selling to an English side, that adds a bit of money on because there are requirements for that. But at the same time, he hasn't shown too much, you know, to a Premier League level at all. And even in the first team, I'm not sure how he did on his loan. So I would expect maybe between 1 million and 2 million, maybe a bit, even could be a bit less, Dave. But I think if you make the decision that that's what you want to do, you should look at it as pure profit because obviously he's an academy boy as well. So that money is pure profit for the club.
So, guys, so if you're watching this series, as you can see, you know, the defence and the forward sections are a little bit more in flux. The midfield that we've got, which is quite interesting considering we did lose Neves, Moutinho, and all of those, it's quite settled. We seem to have a good bunch with depth that they can switch and interchange. Do you think there's anything that will be added to that? You know, or they'll just supplement it again from the academy if need be?
Yeah, I think that the midfield is one area last season with our injury crisis at the back and up front where we didn't suffer. And obviously we had suspensions, you know, the type of players that Gomez is, he gets cards a lot. Same with Bukayo as well. So even though when there were suspensions and occasionally injuries, you know, a couple knocks, we didn't really struggle in the midfield. I think the recruitment team have got it really bang on with the midfield. So I think there's too many other areas in the squad that demand the recruitment team's attention this summer. I wouldn't be against signing a player in January who's a bit more versatile to play in midfield and possibly maybe as a defender and a midfielder or a winger and a midfielder. But yeah, generally, I'm really happy with where the midfield's at.
Absolutely. So yeah, so out of the three, this is the shortest one out of our 3-part series because you know, it's fairly stable. We're fairly comfortable with where we are with the midfield. If you haven't already, check out part 1, which is about the defenders. Lewis has also, and keepers, has also given options on potential incomings that he's identified, both in the keeping area and the defensive area. And make sure you do hit that subscribe and hit the bell notification, because when part 3 drops, which is for the forwards and attackers, that's going to be quite in depth, because again, we're going to be looking through the entire squad and also what Lewis has identified as potential ideal players that could come in at the right price to help Gary O'Neill and the squad for next season. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed this one. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. If you really enjoyed it, smash that like button. And until we see you on part 3, from myself and Lewis, always Wolves.
Always Wolves.